Few days ago, I made a poll of what you guys want me to make next, and most of you want me to make the Travel Chronicles recap, so here it is. The plan is that I'll be recapping all the Travel Chronicles because I know the quests are not really mind-blowingly lore bombs anyway, and mostly talk about the daily lives of the tribe's people. However, it turns out that Travel Chronicles is just a repackaged story quest and locked behind 5-star characters of the Sage tribe. People of the Springs is locked behind Mualani, Science of the Canopy is locked behind Kinich, and Children of Echoes is more than likely locked behind Shilonen. But since the quests are locked behind certain characters, I'll be recapping the Travel Chronicles like how I recap Emily's story quest. Or if you want the quickest recap alive, People of the Springs recap is basically, maybe the real treasure is the friends we made along the way. I'm not even joking, that's literally it. Well, if you don't believe me, you'll see soon enough. My traveler of choice is Ether, so I'll be referring to the traveler as he in this video. Before we start, don't forget to give this video a like and comment so the channel can be noticed by the algorithm. I'm juggling my time as a college student, an artist, and video editing, so a little bit of boost will help this channel a lot, and that lets me know that I'm doing a good job. My name is Neko Gitsune, and I make lore and commentary videos on this channel to keep you company. The quest starts with us saving two Sumeru scholars named Karya and her senior Firamdra, who are attacked by Koholosauruses. Now of course, normal people would do it the normal way, but since I was too lazy to battle them, I just do it the easy way. You know you can do that, right? Anyways, Karya then reveals that they were searching for a mysterious island for Firamdra's research, and the reason they got attacked by Koholosaurus is because the Saurians apparently are the clue to get to the island. By the way, we learn further that in the quest, both Karya and Firamdra are from the Spantamat Darshan, which is one of the 6 Darshans of Academia that specializes in elements and ley lines. After they thank the Traveler and Paimon and leave, Paimon and the Traveler go to the People of the Springs chief, Amina, to find more clues about this island. Amina tells the Traveler that the secret to go to this island is actually a public information, but Amina is willing to tell the Traveler and Paimon only if they do a favor to Amina in exchange. The Traveler and Paimon accept Amina's proposal, and her favor is to investigate the tourism scam that is happening in People of the Springs. So, Amina gives the Traveler and Paimon a bag of Bora as they start the investigation. The Traveler and Paimon met a guide who is willing to guide the Traveler and Paimon to the mysterious island for free. Oh my god, I'm sorry for laugh. It's just that this is such a common tactic for people to do, whether it's for normal sales or things like this. You know, I occasionally work as a merchant too during anime conventions, so things like this, I don't know, it's just, I find it so funny. You all should know where this is going, alright? Anyways, they have to pay to take pictures with Koholosaurus, who is claimed to give blessings to people. I really want to talk to the Koholosaurus, but unfortunately we can't do that, so we'll never know what the Koholosaurus thinks when we take pictures with them. To get some evidence, the Traveler and Paimon asks for receipts. At the end of the tour, the Traveler and Paimon, of course, got scammed by the tour guide. The mysterious island that the guide brings them to is obviously artificial and looks terrible, and of course, it's fake. The Traveler and Paimon reveal their intention and are about to report them to the chief. But the receipts writing disappear, and it turns out that the guide is using a fake name. On cue, Amina appears to catch the fraud. Despite the defective receipts, Amina already anticipated this to happen and marked the more she gave to the Traveler to catch the fraud. So, the fraud gets caught, and as promised, Amina tells us the information about the mysterious island. So imagine this, if the guide who scammed us has visited the island, why didn't he just take all the treasure himself? Why bother scamming people if the treasure he found is enough to make him filthy rich? Despite being public, it's almost impossible to go there. There's no shortcut to the island, nor anyone has ever reached the requirement to visit it. Very few people have visited the island, and one requirement that is needed is strong French. I don't know what's wrong with People of the Springs, but I feel like even Mualani actually says the power of friendship in the Archon quest. I don't get it. Amina suggests not to visit the island without a guide, and even with a guide, it's more than likely you won't be able to visit such island if the relationship is just momentary. Of course, the Traveler and Paimon still want to visit the island with Mualani as the person they're going to ask. The next day, the Traveler and Paimon visit Mualani's shop for the request, which Mualani is very reluctant to accept because of how dangerous it is to go there. As the Traveler and Paimon are about to take back the request, some people run to the main square because a tour guide named Kulao just recently came back from his exploration. Mualani told us that Kulao is currently the #1 tour guide in the People of the Springs and apparently has already visited the mysterious island. So we go to the plaza to see what it's all about. And with that, the real Travel Chronicles officially starts. Journey to the mysterious island. We then go to the square with Mualani where there's a crowd that gathers. Kulao standing in the middle, boasting on his most recent exploration with his client. We also see Karya and Faramdra in the square and ask for Kulao to guide them to the mysterious island. Kulao denies the commission and told the scholars that the reason he was able to reach the island is because he went there alone, and having other people with him is going to be a hindrance. Okay, Kirito. He then throws the commission to Mualani instead and arrogantly leaves. Now, I know they tried to make Kulao the annoying antagonist in this story, but honestly, he got a good point. He knew the journey is very dangerous, so on one hand, I can see his reasoning that it'll be a waste of the scholars' money if they can't catch up with the guide, but also, I mean, you know, he should have answered them more professionally, so After Kulao leaves, the crowd disperses with Mualani and Traveler discuss their journey. Kaguya and Faramdra decide to join in as well. With Mualani giving precautions, all of them have to trust Mualani with their lives, because the journey is going to be a hard one. The Traveler and Mualani decide to buy their supplies, and we learn that Mualani is filthy rich. Of course, she is Hydro. Everyone is rich in that element. We then visit Mualani's teacher, Nu, who gave the map, which by the way is incomplete, to Mualani and the Talisman of Good Luck, which apparently is made of a special spinal fur that is not common within the land. The next day, everyone meets at the monument near the main tribe land. Mualani asks everyone to touch the statue as it brings good luck on their journey. Faramdra is reluctant to do it because there's no basis behind Mualani's statement, but he still does it anyway because it's a custom. After that, off they go. The first on the map is to head to an area where many Koholosaurus herds reside. In order to get to the mysterious island, they need to find clues from the Koholosauruses. With the scholars stay to guard the coast belongings, Mualani and the Traveler walks to the herd carefully to find clues. And deep in the valley, they found a group of Koholosauruses that somehow triggers a special moss that creates a peculiar image on a rock, which is the clue that Mualani needs. After copying the image, Mualani pieces together the image she copied earlier, and turns out it's a piece of map that connects with the map she got from her teacher. So they head to the next area. The next area is on a huge field where Mualani says there might be a mechanism in the area. Faramdra then has his Genshin theorist moment where he suggests that there might be a spirit way that is created by ancient dragons. Given that Mualani doesn't remember there's anyone in the tribe that sets a spirit door in the area. Just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is Spirit Way and this is a spirit door. Now, from what you guys have been hearing while I'm retelling the story, I mostly skip everything that is irrelevant. But this is one of the rare times that story quests actually give her relevant lore. Yes, I know this is Travel Chronicles, but you can't deny that this is almost the same as story quests, okay? So, according to Faramdra, there's a device near the area that is similar to spirit doors, and it's possible that people from Mualani's tribe imitate these devices based on the original. Spirit way is originally a natural phenomenon created by the flow of logistons. Since the current area seems to contain a lot of spirit ways, there might be ancient devices created by the dragons of Vault to open these spirit ways. Now, the important lore here is that the dragons created these devices very long time ago, and combined with the information we got from the Archon quest, it can be said that these dragons from Natlan are extremely advanced creatures because even the current people of Natlan imitates the device created by these dragons and still use them till this day. This is a small theory, but whatever the dragons of Natlan did back then, it's possible that Natlan used to be an extremely advanced nation and have the most intelligent and stronger dragons than other nations, perhaps technologically more advanced than the old Fontaine. This makes Xabalanque more Giga Chad than he already is, since he defeated the Dragon King Xiuhua before he became an Archon, and since the game mentions Xiuhua as a Dragon King, it's very likely that Xiuhua is a Pyro Dragon Sovereign. If you want to learn more about them, you have to wait until my next video, so stay tuned. The gang decide to find the mechanism nearby, with everyone working together as the mechanism needs teamwork in order for Mualani to ride the Spirit Way. After fixing the mechanism, Mualani rides the Spirit Way to trigger the next step. Turns out that the mechanism and riding the spiritway activates a whirlpool near the area, and this whirlpool is the next step to get to the mysterious island. Understandably, Firamdra doesn't want to follow Mualani's advice, since their beliefs are conflicting with Firamdra believing in his own theory, while Mualani believing in the map's clues. Mualani suggests that she and the traveler enter the vortex first so they can convince Firamdra to join them later. So, Mualani and the traveler did just that. But as they're about to do that, Karya screams for help to Mualani and the traveler as Firamdra wants to try his own methods, but gets tracked by the water instead. So Mualani decides to help Firamdra instead because to her clients are more important than the destination they're heading to. However, because the mechanism needs to recharge after we trigger the vortex also has limited time for it to appear. So by the time Mualani saves Firamdra, the vortex disappears. Because the vortex has disappeared, they decide to build a camp for the night. During their camp, Mualani and the gang start to tell stories to strengthen their friendship. Mualani then suggests putting up bonfire questions, and her first question is, what is the purpose of a journey? Now, I can easily skip this part because this part is not that relevant to the story, but there is something that might bring you guys to question why we even have this journey in the first place if the traveler's reasoning is so conflicting. But before we get to the travelers, Paimon's answer is to find good treasure, good food along the way, and journey together with companions. Karya's answer is to provide true companionship, and as long you are together, you don't have to think of anything outside of the trip. Firamdra's answer is to find the greatest result so he can prove to people the journey that he made, and journey by itself is the path to the result. Apparently one of his research results got stolen, so all he cares about now is the result, while the journey is insignificant to him. While Mualani can sympathize, to her, if result is what you're looking for, then you might as well just stay at home, because to her, journey is enjoying the sight and enjoy the trip you see along the way, because at the end of the day, home is your final destination, which I do agree with Mualani in this case. But at the same time, I can see Firamdra's reasoning as well, albeit his reasoning feels more to a journey of research than journey as in trips, so that is something that needs to be reconsidered. Now as for the traveler, he can't answer the question immediately, but we do see him contemplating his answer. He is well aware that the purpose of his journey is to find his sister, which he did, but just that his sister made us forget about it during the bedtime story arc and quest. But even if he remembers, I doubt he counts this as a result that he wants anyway, because his sister will eventually return to the Abyss Order regardless. He then remembers all the time he visits other nations, such as Mondstadt's windmill, the sight of colorful lights in Liyue Harbor, sakura petals that falls from the trees in Inazuma, the scent of coffee and olathum in Sumeru, and the sounds of waves ebb and flow and swim alongside other fishes in Fontaine. To him, that's the real meaning of his journey. I know some of you might be very conflicted with this, trust me, even I do when I place this quest, but at the same time, I feel like this is sort of realistic. We're going off topic from the story a bit because I think this is an important section where we have to talk about the traveler's character development as we progress within the story of Genshin Impact. If you guys remember, MiHoYo actually released a short animation a few months ago called The Road Not Taken. In it, we see both siblings have traversed through Teyvat, with both having completely different outcomes in the end. Aether walks to the sunlight, while Lumine walks to the sunset, indicating that Aether walks to the light, while Lumine walks to the darkness. You have to remember that either way, both are very realistic depictions of journey, because in Lumine's case, the more she travels, the more desperate she becomes, because her companion, in this case Dainsleif, is also in a state of grief, so he is unable to give Lumine any sort of ease of mind either. Not only that, she was unable to find any clues regarding to her brother because her brother was not awakened yet. Her timeline was also closer to Khaenri'ah's destruction as well, because she was the princess of Khaenri'ah during that time, and the amount of responsibility she had to shoulder back then must be so heavy to her. Different from Aether, he is the complete opposite. His companion is Paimon, and she makes sure that her companion is not always in a state of grief, hence why he is able to cope with the predicament he is in. Not only that, he is able to find crumbs and bits of clues to find his sister, especially that Dainsleif is also there to provide more clues and bits of what to do next during their journey. Aether woke up 500 years later after the cataclysm, and during this time, he is able to meet other people, making new friends along the way while helping other nations with their problems. Even though at first he is forced to do this, it eventually becomes some sort of new adventure for him because he knows this will happen either way. To get the information he needs, he has to do something for the archons of the nation he goes to anyway. Since he made a lot of memories along the way, his reasoning to me makes a lot of sense. He sees a lot of new scenery, making new friends, creating memories, and even fight through dangers. If you ask me, even though Lumin asks us to journey across Teyvat and 100% sure Aether will come to her side, I don't think Aether will agree with Lumin either, even after he completed his journey, because the amount of memories he made along the way and friends he created are not something that he could simply throw away. Yes, I know that the majority of people would choose their family over their friends, but if you found out that your sibling walks through the darkness and you know the path they're taking is very dangerous and sinister path, would you still walk the same path with them? I think this is why Dainsleif also said, "Show me that you are worthier than I to rescue her." And perhaps the reason Lumin erased Aether's memory during bedtime story is to let Aether come to his own conclusion for his journey. I would bet that Lumin knows deep in her heart that Aether will fight against her anyway. Aether will eventually know the truth at that point, but just like the Fatui and the Abyss Order, Aether's ideology is different from Lumin's despite the same goal, and they're destined to fight against each other, but that's just how I speculate the future Archon quest. Alright, that's enough speculation. You can let me know about your thoughts in the comments. Now let's get back to Mualani's story. The next day, the Traveler and Paimon wake up to find Mualani already activated the vortex, with Karya and Firamdra helped along the way. So they enter the vortex and in it, there's a cave. Mualani finds out that the talisman that her teacher gave her is the same unique spinal fruit used the material from this cave. This indicates that her teacher has also visited the cave before, and this cave leads to the mysterious island. The island shows a beautiful bright light that definitely does not make Dark Discord user burn their eyes out. As they are about to proceed, Mualani suggests turning back because according to the map, if you see the golden light, turn the opposite way, suggesting that this island is not the mysterious island that her tribe visited back then. Of course, Firamdra doesn't listen to this and rushes in with lava suddenly start rising and monsters appear. After defeating the monsters, Mualani rides her surfboard to catch Firamdra. Firamdra convinces Mualani to take the ore from the mysterious island, but Mualani drags him away, literally telling him, "Bitch, I wanna be alive, f*** your research." Mualani returns to the gang with Firamdra, and Kaguya slaps the shit out of Firamdra for being childish and returns him to his senses. Mualani then calls a horde of Coholosauruses and heads back to the surface. Funnily enough, they're back to where they started as the map told the gang to visit the monument again. As they visit the monument, new words suddenly appear in it.
축하한다, 미래의 가이드. 넌 방금 나에게도 쉽지 않은 도전을 마쳤어. 그리고 나도 드디어 내 이야기를 들려줄 수 있게 됐지. 네가 듣는 부족 전설에서 난 나타 최고의 가이드겠지? 하지만 처음에 난 보물 사냥꾼에 더 가까웠어. 자신을 증명할 결과를 위해 몸을 아끼지 않았지. 난 모두가 두려워하는 목적지에 연이어 도달했고 세상에 보기 드문 보물을 몇 번이고 가져왔어. 명성은 더 쌓을 수 없을 정도였지. 하지만 그래도 난 만족하지 못했어. 그래서 아무도 이루지 못한 도전을 새로운 목표로 삼았지. 전설 속 신비의 섬에 가서 다시금 능력을 증명하는 거였어. 하지만 줄곧 함께해온 친구들은 내 억지에 지쳐 있었어. 말리는 목소리가 평소의 공감보다 훨씬 많았지. 이번 여행은 나 혼자 해내야 할지도 몰랐어. 다행히도 친구들은 다시 한번 내 억지를 받아줬어. 늘 그랬듯 친구들은 절묘한 방법을 생각해내며 내가 나아가도록 도와줬어. 목숨이 걸린 상황에서도 난 친구들을 기꺼이 믿었지. 친구들도 매번 내 판단을 믿어줬어. 큰 용기가 필요한 상황에서도 말이야. 그리고 마침내 우리는 언제나처럼 결과를 찾아냈어. 그런데 그 금빛은 치명적인 미끼였어. 그건 진귀한 광석이 내뿜는 빛이자 주기적인 마그마 분출의 전조 현상이었지. 목숨을 걸고 계속 나아가면 다시 한번 날 증명할 결과를 얻을지도 몰랐어. 대신 더 소중한 걸 잃게 될 수도 있었지. 걱정 마. 나도 결국 너랑 같은 선택을 내렸으니까. 친구들은 명성이 자자한 내가 빈손으로 돌아가는 게 안타깝다고 했어. 하지만 무사히 돌아가는 모두를 보며 난 처음으로 만족감을 느꼈지. 어쩌면 난 종착지에 도달하기 전에 이미 가장 원하는 보물을 찾았는지도 몰라. 그래서 난 마침내 기나긴 여행을 끝내고 이 소중한 보물을 위한 장소를 찾았어. 그곳이야말로 내겐 진정한 신비의 섬이야.
See, even he already said it himself with slightly different wording. Maybe the real treasure was the friends we made along the way. Also, why is he hot? And why is he not playable? I'm sorry, Mihoyo, but this is illegal. Even if he is just a 4-star, I still take it at any day because Dendro at the moment cannot take the full effect of the new artifact set at the moment. And usually Mihoyo releases 4-star characters as sub DPS anyway. Anyways, after the cutscene plays, the hidden inscription from the monument disappears. It turns out that the inscriptions were left by the first chief of People of the Springs, and turns out that the island that the tribe lives in is the mysterious island. Hiramdra is very disappointed that the ore from the cave is now gone because the lava has burned everything away according to him. Which, by the way, I mean, I don't know if the writers forget or not, but he should have took samples already, even though it's not the ore. That's for one. And for two, you do know that camera exists in Teyvat, right? Either he is just stupid for not bringing any, or he forget that he actually brought them. And even if that's not the case, he could have just borrowed Traveler's camera, you know, but who am I to judge? In order to conclude the guide, Mualani suggests everyone to go back to the tribe and ask her teacher for answers, Nu. So yes, as Mualani gives the talisman back to Nu, Nu reveals that he did visit the island before. It's just that he chose not to boast about his deeds to the people. The monument uses special ink that only comes in contact with people contaminated by volcanic dusts, and will disappear once again once the dust wears off. There are choices left by the first chief to whoever successfully finished their journey. You can either boast about your deeds to the people and gain the highest honor, but that will destroy the legend because it's no longer a legend. Or you can just keep it hidden so the younger generations can challenge themselves to visit the island, and Nu chose the latter. As for Kulao, he never visited the mysterious island because do you remember the spirit wave mechanism? Yes, there is no way he is able to do that by himself. To Nu, his job as a guide is what is more important. Guides are not adventurers, let alone treasure hunters, but simply to guide people to their destination. However, in the process, they gain the ability and skill to overcome dangers, as this is how guides are able to reach places that normally people can't reach, and even treasures. This is what the first chief of the tribe tries to teach them as well, by overcoming dangers and teaching them how important it is to save your friends before treasure. Many members of the tribe have traveled to the mysterious island, but in order to honor the first chief and learn the meaning of his reasoning, all of them decide to choose the latter to lure more younger guide generations to challenge the legend themselves. Despite not getting the result Nu wanted, his job as a guide and seeing Mualani, his student, complete the challenge makes him proud as a guide and long-term result he cherished the most. Ramdra finally realized that finding the result and not caring about the journey is not something he should have think about. He then indirectly proposes to Karya. Seriously, you can't just think of this scene and not look at it as a marriage proposal, okay? And promises Mualani and Nu to keep what he witnessed as a secret. Nu then gives the talisman back to Mualani so Mualani can pass it to her future students. Ramdra has decided on a new research as the two scholars say their goodbye to Mualani, Nu, the Traveler, and Paimon as they are officially friends now. As the scholars leave, Kula walks to the gang to ask whether Mualani has successfully reached the island or not, to which Mualani and the gang just nod. In Korean it's actually funnier because Mualani literally just say, yeah. Get his ass! Kulao then leaves, feeling defeated. To say goodbye, Mualani invites Paimon and the Traveler to take a picture together at the outskirts of the tribe. As Mualani gives her vague reason why she can get away with just a photo as a memento, the Traveler then answers Mualani's question from yesterday, giving the answer that he contemplated. From the way this story tells, it's definitely a no-brainer that the answer he tells Mualani is, The real treasure is the friends and memories they made along the way. You can watch the whole story again on your own and come back if you think that's not the case. Mualani, Traveler, and Paimon take a group photo, and this is where the Travel Chronicles of People of the Springs ends. I have to say, that was fun. I actually didn't think too much about it when I was playing the quest, but then realized that, this quest definitely shows the traveler's growth during his journey. Some people might disagree with this growth, but to me, I think this is an understandable growth because you really can't get to your goal if you're too focused on what's on your mind and not let yourself unwind or relax for a second. Yes, I know that the Abyss sibling had a very valid reason given that their conditions were different, but at the end of the day, I think the traveler's growth is something that I can understand and resonate with. And besides, his goal is still to find his sister, but the meaning of his journey is different. You guys have to remember, okay, that goal and meaning are two different things, and I think the traveler found the meaning of his journey but still has the goal in mind. I know this is unrelated, but somehow talking about journey and all kind of reminds me of Nikocado Avocado's recent video where he suddenly show up again to the internet looking really skinny. I swear to God, that's probably one of the biggest plot twists of 2024 at the moment because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost feel like we returned back in time, if that makes sense, you know? Because if you guys don't remember, Nikocado Avocado actually starts as a vegan, and then I guess the cloud kinda caught up to him, so he became obese and stuff like that. And seeing him the way he is now feels like a full circle. I don't know, that's just so funny, I just have to mention that. But also, I did say that the traveler's, growth is something that I can resonate with. And that's because it's kind of something like, I don't know, I have a similar experience like him, although it's more of my journey to find the reason to keep on living in this beautiful world. Yeah, I know, it's a bit sentimental. Maybe I'll tell my story one day, but for now, this is where the video officially ends. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like it, please consider giving it a like and comment so the channel can be noticed by the algorithm. Which part do you like the most? What do you think of the traveler's growth? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Ja, mata!